Well, Grand Rising again, family. Let me know if you can see and hear me well. I had to go out and come back in. I just realized that Facebook is having some technical difficulties this morning, so I need to hear from my Facebook people. I noticed that I got a message from them, and additionally, the numbers dropped off precipitously because I can see the numbers between both platforms. So let's see who's here. Uh, Let's see. Talk to my Facebook people. I think this is a recent win from Chris. Okay. All right. My YouTube folks are still here. Hillary, I don't know if you still have access to the Facebook page or not, but you can put an announcement out there for me and let people know that we had technical difficulties on Facebook, but we're back on the air. Okay. Okay, there she is. She's on there now. I think she still has access to this page. Mhm. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We had to go out and come back in. Hopefully things will hold, and I won't be that much longer. So let me ask the Facebook folks, what is the last thing you heard? And I was going to ask you all a question anyway before I got started today. I just going to do something slightly different. But what's the last thing that you heard? That's the question I was going to ask anyway. What's the last thing that you heard uh, me speaking about? People on YouTube, the folk on YouTube should have heard it all. But the people on Facebook, not so much. What's the last thing you heard me say on Facebook? Because honestly, I saw that message probably 10 minutes before I actually did something about it from Facebook about some kind of difficulties. Then I started noticing the numbers dropping off on Facebook. I said, okay, let me check. Let me check. And that's when I realized, oh no, they're not streaming now, so they can't see me. Let's see. Krista says for her it stopped after the announcements. Okay. Anybody else want to chime in with that? Anybody else after the announcements? Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Our resident mystic have posted a quote uh, about vibing with the tribe in the last broadcast before we disconnected. And that led me into a diatribe about compatibility is based upon frequency. So, what Hillary had in the announcements, I just wanted to comment on it. And then I want to get some feedback from you all as to how these messages have been impacting you. And I'm going to ask you that in a few minutes, but let me revisit the diatribe real quickly. Uh, I believe that what I was sharing with everyone is that I believe relationships, uh, all kinds of relationships, don't, well, they exist because of frequency compatibility. What I was describing is the mind is transmitting thoughts. When we speak, it's in frequency. And of course, we are made up of trillions and trillions and trillions of atoms and subatomic particles that those atoms are made of are energy in motion. And whether you recognize it or not, the scientific world does, that we vibrate. Everything in this universe vibrates. And I think that our core beliefs are always transmitting through our actions, through our speech, through our thinking. And it's doing it right now, even while I'm speaking. And even if you're not on the same level in terms of frequency with a person, you can still detect something higher, especially if you have aspirations to ascend to a higher plane, a higher dimension, to elevate yourself. And so the frequency, the frequency that you transmit, somebody else is compatible with that and vice versa. The frequency that you aspire to elevate to can also be sensed. And I think that on an unspoken, nonverbal level, energetic connection, spirit to spirit connection, subconscious to subconscious connection, that this is where a lot of the compatibility things are worked out because, as I said, just like we are transmitters, we are also antennae or antenna, meaning that we can pick up also on other frequencies that come from other people. So just consider this in any kind of relationship you have. There's going to be harmony. There's going to be some harmonics. There's going to be some resonance. There should be some resonance uh, in the vibe, excuse me, among the tribe that you're with. And it's going to be based on the transmission of the vibe or the vibe transmission that's going to determine whether you fit or whether you don't fit. And so there's a lot of times, this is why a lot of times people, before they are able to intellectually, analytically decide they don't fit, they feel it first. They feel it first. And many times they can't put language to it. And then there are times when the language or the understanding starts emerging within them and they're still in denial. But one thing you can't do is you're not going to shut off uh, that part of you that is, number one, transmitting who and what you are. Number two, detecting the transmissions of others. And then that part of you is interpreting the comfort level for you. So this discomfort exists. In many times, it's a frequency that you are detecting that you're no longer comfortable with amongst the tribe. When that happens, you've got decisions to make. You've got a decision to make. So the part of the announcement was about there are people out there who vibe with us. They just don't know we exist. Did you catch that? It is up to you and I, and of course, God, the divine universe. All of these things will work in concert to help us connect with people who are going in the same direction we're going, who are operating on dimensional planes we are or desire to aspire to. And we want to encourage you to continue to take either the whole broadcast or snippets and just share it with people. There are people right now who are tired of religion. There are people out there right now, things don't make sense to them anymore. Their conceptual framework of religion, conceptual framework of God, conceptual framework of their belief system, so forth and so on. Uh, there is no comfort level there. Okay. So, and it's because there is no harmony that exists. We are a different type of tribe. We don't expect to fit in with just any and everybody. And you're going to be used as an emissary and an instrument to help find more people like us. All right. Now, quickly, I want to see if you can still see me and hear me well on Facebook. Can you still see me and hear me well on Facebook? Talk back to me. Can you still see me and hear me well on Facebook? Can you still see me and hear me well on Facebook? Talk back to me real quickly. And then I'm going to get into a few things that I'm going to discuss, but I want to ask you some questions. Okay. Yes. All good. Thank you. So I quickly want to get let's do a volume of teaching maybe the last month. And I will just talk for maybe 20 to 30 minutes because I want to hear your feedback. I want your feedback on some of the things I've been talking about over the last month, maybe 2 months on Sundays and Wednesdays. I want your feedback. There, of course, these presentations are related to the blog articles I wrote, but these blog articles are a combination of spirituality, metaphysics, science, and of course, a part of science is in quantum physics and mechanics, philosophy, psychology, biology, medical science, so forth and so on. Uh, what's your understanding and your take on what I've been discussing recently? I want to hear that real quickly. What's your understanding and your take on that? Tell me what you're getting out of these presentations and how it's impacting you. And you just type it, and I'll put it up, and we'll converse about it for a few minutes. We have not regained the crowd back yet that we had before on here tonight, but it's fine. Today, I should say, but it's fine. I want to kind of get your feedback on what I've been talking about recently. Does it make sense to you? Does it not make sense? All opinions are welcome here. Do you understand it? Do you not understand it? Do you need some clarity? One reason I'm going back and taking my time, even over in terms of dealing with the previous blog articles and teaching from there a little bit more slowly, is because it is a lot to digest. It is definitely a lot to process. And when paradigms are being challenged, when core beliefs are being challenged, when belief systems are being challenged, and you are used to living within a certain reality tunnel and a certain cognitive or confirmation bias, many times when you start hearing certain kinds of teaching, there is some form of resistance that exists. And the resistance exists because you're living in a reality tunnel and you're living according to a cognitive or confirmation bias that says to you what your reality is. It dictates to you and defines to you what's real, what's not real, what's true, what's false. Okay. Uh, so tell me what you think about it and tell me how it has impacted you. All right. Let's see here. Our resident mystic Wesley Turk says, "Man, this time I consider this dimensional ministry as a mystery school." Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And they do have yeah, mystery schools throughout the globe who teach certain ancient, spiritual, and universal mystical principles. But I'm glad that uh, for that observation from our resident mystic, I appreciate that. Let's see, Hillary says, 100% enjoying the teaching, love being challenged, informed, enlightened, and awakened in every way. All right. Thank you so much. And I want Hillary to comment uh, on the areas she might be challenged in, or have been challenged in by listening to the teaching and reading the blog. What areas have been challenging for you, or have you been challenged in? I'm curious to hear that. See, Krista says, yes, it makes a lot of sense when it's not to resist the truth, giving myself permission to open up and learn new things. That's great. That's great. And that is what is required if we're going to um, absorb and incorporate and implement new knowledge. You got to be open to it. And remember, I described to you from neuroscience how the brain does what they call predictive processing, along with other things I lined up from science and then psychology to show that there is some symmetry there. We are literally operating day to day, as we say, on old beliefs. Our world is being interpreted by the brain. It is predicting what something is before the analytical or intellectual mind or the intellectual part of the brain has an opportunity to analyze it. That part of the brain has already predicted what it is. I want you to type the word in this word in the comment section, stuck, S-T-U-C-K, stuck. Want you to type that in the comment section, the word stuck. Let's see what our resident therapist says. Teacher, undoubtedly, our classes have been extremely helpful in understanding how faith works in our psychology, especially breaking away from religious codependency and owning my own divine power. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. Stuck. What does the word stuck mean to you? What does the word stuck mean to you? And while you're working that out, Hillary's response is honestly ignoring the 3D and expressing gratitude. It was hard to express gratitude when nothing around me looked as if it was lining up. Wow. Thank you so much for that honesty. Anybody else dealing with this challenge that Hillary just shared with us? Anybody else having that same challenge? Anybody else having that same challenge that Hillary is having? And I must admit, I have that challenge myself at times, for sure. Most definitely, I have that challenge. Anybody else having that challenge that Hillary described? Ign- uh, Ignoring the 3D and expressing gratitude. She said it was hard to express gratitude when nothing around me looked as if it was lining up. Can anybody bear witness with that in your own personal life? Let's see. Okay. We got some people say they can definitely relate to that. Definitely. So while we're at that station, um, what has been the solution for you? What things have you tried? Uh, what things have you tried? She also says, in addition to that, on the same vein, not being able to move or navigate and express it sincerely. Okay. So what things have you tried to that helped you, or you tried something in an attempt to get help in your challenge with expressing gratitude when it seems like nothing was moving or nothing was changing? What things did you try? I'm curious, family. What things did you try to help yourself in that moment? I'm curious as to what you tried. And Hillary, what things did you try? Okay, so our resident mystic says, look at things from a different perspective. Absolutely. And I want him to, if he doesn't mind, elaborate a little bit more in the comment section on what he means by that. Look at things a little bit different. This is most definitely uh, a key and critical component to changing the way we see a thing, is changing the perspective of it. When we change the perspective, we change the mental vision and the mental insight. We change the emotional response from what it was before to what we want it to be in the moment. So he's going to elaborate a little bit more on that. If there's others, you can chime in as well. Let's see. She says, I prescribed, you prescribed me 7 days of gratitude. Okay. Once I did that out of pure place, not concerned on what was going on around me, expressing gratitude became easier. I also still have the gratitude alarm set. Okay. Okay. We did talk about that. And I did. Now I do remember sharing that with her. The power of praise and the power of gratitude is that it gives us the opportunity not to just be thankful for God or the divine, the creator, source, and sustainer, or to be grateful for things, but it impacts your perspective. It impacts your mindset. Is what it does. Do you understand again that you and I are literally manifesting our thoughts, even if they're negative? These things are showing up on a three-dimensional canvas that we call reality. As he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. I want you to understand that whatever you and I really, really believe, we are it, and then we will project it, we will manifest it. Can you imagine? And I've been there before. Can you imagine living days and days and days and days and days on end with the perspective of pessimism and sadness and depression? How many of y'all know what that's like? And then it seems like you breed more situations and circumstances that come into your life that are depressing and sad. Just as that had a negative impact on you, gratitude and praise has the opposite impact on us. And then again, like I said to you, we're transmitting these things into the world around us, and it's taking shape and form based on our intentions, based on our beliefs, based on these things that we've been encoded with. So gratitude and praise, it reminds you of God, it reminds you of something greater. It reminds you of the things that you actually have in your life that you should be grateful for. And it helps to alter your perspective in the moment. It helps disrupt old, negative, doubtful, uh, pouty patterns that many times have been formed within us that darkens the lens of life that we view the world as. Because we view the world through the lenses of the mind. What if you change the lenses of the mind? What if you pulled up the shades, rolled back the shades, opened the curtains? What if you did that? Uh, Wesley says it's a conflict. Look at it from another view. I honestly agree with this. If see what happens is, and look like this is where we're going to be going for a little while. So let's just roll with it. There's a part of us that becomes mesmerized by pain or mesmerized by suffering, or it's like okay, mesmerized is a good word, but hypnotized, that's a better word. We get in the moment and we become entranced in the stinking, entranced in the putrid, entranced in the bad taste. We become fixated, focused, and obsessed with dark thoughts, feelings, and emotions in the moment. You know why? Because that's what lives in us. Those thoughts that we think about ourselves are not the best thoughts most of the times. And those thoughts we think about who and what we are, even though we do have dreams, those dreams tend to become outvoted by more thoughts of sadness, more thoughts of being a failure, more thoughts of not being good enough, more thoughts of struggle, more thoughts of feeling abandoned, more thoughts of feeling overlooked, more thoughts of tiredness and fatigue, many times, is what outweighs the dream. Wow, I just said a word there. I just said a word there. Everybody on here is a dreamer. At some point in time, you envision and see yourself doing something better and greater in your personal life. And for a few days, sometimes a few weeks, you're good. But then something happens and you find yourself snapping back or reverting back to that old state. And it is because you have programmed yourself with all of those millions and millions of thoughts over time to believe at the core of your being that this is what happens to you and this is what's supposed to happen to you, and this is the summary of your life. So it's like there's a part of you that is not surprised when you revert back. There's a part of you that kind of welcomes that, just be honest, because you're comfortable with that. I'm comfortable with that. That's who and what we've been for years. Mm, mm, mm. So changing the perspective is a highly critical and key component. But the challenge is that once those grooves have been formed in our brains, those neural pathways, those thoughts that wire together, start firing together, it has literally created the structure of your brain to think within this from this paradigm, to think from within this reality tunnel, to think from within this spiritual, theological, philosophical construct. For you, this is what your life is. For you, this is what your reality is. See, Krista says, I remembered all the things, all the times things did eventually line up for me when I didn't think they would. Absolutely. And this is a powerful statement because, as I've explained to you, when the body is programmed with the reality of misery, when you get triggered, it does not want to take you to a place of happiness or take you to a place of where there were solutions in previous events. It takes you straight to the basement of darkness, straight to the dungeon of despair. I know that I've lived that. I'm still deprogramming my body. It's not just the mind, people, it's the body. And I explained this to you that many times you don't even have a chance to analyze it. As soon as the brain, as soon as the event happens, you don't get a chance to say, let me see if this is really what I think it is. You automatically jump to the conclusion that it's not going to be beneficial for you, or it's the same old thing that you're tired of. And the body just, this darkness just starts forming. This chemical release of negative emotions start forming within us. And before we know it, we're dominated by that old, dark, dank, depressive state. So remembering the good times, what she's saying is powerful because it's challenging for many people to do that in those moments. Mystic says, I understand people are living their own life plan, which may be negative. Yes. And that's the thing. It's a life plan, family. Oh, I like that. I like that word. We don't understand that our core beliefs is a roadmap. It is a plan. When I say core beliefs, again, people are thinking, "Oh, that's a belief in God." No, that's what you believe about reality. Period. It's what I believe about reality. Period. Ooh, I feel this while I'm talking. It's a plan, and it's been there for years and years and years and years and years. Adjustments are made here and there, but for the most part, that core belief has been there for years. And it takes work to change it. It takes work to take you out, your body out of that state, and your mind out of that state. It takes work for you to move out, watch this, of a self abusive relationship. Oh, I just said a word. I want you to type two words, self abuse. Type that in the comment section, self abuse. Self abuse. I like what our resident therapist says. He says personal mirror work has helped tremendously with gratitude. Mhm. Gratitude is a matter of the heart. We have to remember happiness is free. Happiness really is free. And mirror work is powerful. Getting in front of that mirror, the mirror work is not just done outside of a physical mirror. You can do it by mirroring within yourself. But yes, there's a literal mirror work that's taught where people get in front of a mirror and talk to themselves. But the inner work has to be done. And I like what he says at the end of the statement. See, we think happiness costs something. So here, this is what we do. We attach, hear me, we attach happiness to a certain condition. I'm going to say it again. We attach happiness to conditions. What do I mean by that? I'll be happy when I am making $60,000 a year. I'll be happy when I get the man or woman of my dreams. I'll be happy when I'm lose the weight I want to lose. I'll be happy when I'm working the job I want to work. I'll be happy when I'm feeling better in my body. I'll be happy when the people apologize to me who did me wrong. I'll be happy when I'm driving that new car. See, if you create these as conditions for happiness, then guess what's going to happen? You won't be happy until those conditions are fulfilled. Wow. I really want to talk about this for a while, but I'm not. I've done that. Am I the only one who've attached conditions to what makes me happy? Am I the only one who've done that? I did it for years, and I'm telling you now. I always like to be transparent. I always like people to know that the medical doctor who treats you needs to be treated too. I want you to understand. I I don't want to. I shouldn't probably say ruin, but yes, it's true. I ruined, or I should say, wasted many years of living and invested in living in sub basements of life, emotionally and physically, because I attached happiness to things. In other words, the core belief, and this is what's dangerous about living in a capitalistic society. It's all about value and the value that's attached to money and material things. And we will literally decide we ain't crap. We'll decide we're not intelligent. We'll decide we're not meaningful if we're struggling financially. I had to just flow with the spirit today. Yeah, let's just flow with it. Come on now, fam. Let's be honest. We look at their bank accounts and we don't like the way they look. And we're saying, when we're looking at that money in the account or lack of, we're saying to ourselves, you know, I'm just poor. I'm just struggling. And I'm just tired of struggling. And we'll say to ourselves, I can't just figure this out. I just can't get this right. We'll say to ourselves, I'm broken. There's something wrong with me. We'll say to ourselves, I'm just not good enough to make more money. I'm just not good enough to get the right jobs. We'll say to ourselves, I'm not qualified enough. We'll say to ourselves, I'm terrible. We'll say to ourselves, I'm bad. We'll say to ourselves, I'm inferior. We'll say to ourselves, I'm not worthy, just by looking at a bank account balance. Good gracious. Good gracious. Do I have any witnesses out here? Do I have any witnesses? I'm going to ask you a question. When you look at your bank account, your savings account, or what's in your purse in your wallet, and it don't look the way you desire for it to look, I want you to type it in the comment section how what you think and how it makes you feel real quickly. Type that in the comment section. What you're thinking and how it makes you feel real quickly. You're looking at your checking account, $200 in there, $300 in there. You got $3,000 worth of bills. You're looking at your checking account, there's $20 in there, $50. Some folks got negative balances. You're looking at your checking account and thinking about the bills that need to be paid next month, and you see that little bitty balance in there, and then more money is coming, but that's going to be gone completely. It's really spent before you get it. Tell me, how do you see you? What are you thinking and feeling in the moment? What are you thinking and feeling in the moment? Talk back to me. Talk back to me. Because I want you to understand that we are thinking many times and feeling in the moment as if it's misery, but that misery has a narrative with it. I'm miserable because, or I am struggling financially because, or I do not have this, that, or the other because. Thank you. Here's some of the feedback. Thank you for that. Here's some more feedback. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So see, so some have made advances, have made improvements, all right? But there still might be times that you feel that heart flutter, that anxiety that's there. Catch what I'm saying today. Hear what I'm saying today. Okay. So happiness is really subjective. Type that in the comment section. Happiness is subjective. It really is subjective. People are happy based on what they personally think is supposed to make them happy. Wow. I felt that when I said it. And when things go out of the circle of your definition of what happiness should be, guess what? That means you're sad. That means you're going to be miserable. Happiness is subjective. What if we decided, what if we decided that money does not define me? Whether I have a lot or whether I have little, it has nothing to do with happiness. What if I decided that? What if you and I decided that? What if you and I decided that material gain and material wealth, oh, it has its place, but it doesn't define me? It doesn't, a lack of doesn't say, watch this, a lack of doesn't say I'm poor or terrible. Watch this. And in excess or more than enough doesn't say I'm great. Hear me. I think there are a lot of wealthy people who are just not great people. Their character is tarnished and tainted. Am I making any sense? So it is a form of self abuse because we are constantly attacking and challenging ourselves and belittling ourselves and berating ourselves, family. Watch this. If our definition of happiness, family, is unmet. Wow. When you're on, everybody on here is on a health journey. Okay. And you you look in that mirror, you don't like the way your body looks. If you have told yourself, I'm not beautiful, I'm not intelligent, I'm not worthwhile, and nobody will want me because I got all these extra pounds. If you tell yourself that, you are programming your mind and body to believe that you're inferior and unhappy because you don't look the way you think you should look. Wow. I need you to hear me real clearly today. This is divinely given and divinely instructed in the moment. And as a result of that, you have defined why you are depressed. You have defined why you never seem to measure up because you have decided that if I don't hit these markers in life, I am not happy. I am sad or miserable or whatever it is you attach to that. It's a reality tunnel. It's a cognitive and confirmation bias. You want to know another thing people do? They attach, they attach success to age. In other words, they'll say, I'm X amount of years old and I should have this by now. And when they don't have this at a certain age, they can't be happy because they just told themselves, I am age 40, for example, I am age 40 and I don't have this in the bank and I don't have that education and I don't have this in the family. So I'm miserable and I'm not successful. Listen, again, this is not nobody from the outside doing this. This is us doing this to ourselves. We as the co-creators of our of this reality are saying to ourselves, "Oh, I'm terrible, I'm miserable, I'm lonely, I'm weighted, I don't have, I can't have." Am I making any sense to anybody? And I'm going to ask you this question, and he's right. Most people can't identify and describe what happiness is to them. So I'm going to ask you this question. And I told you part of it is from this freaking capitalistic society. These capitalistic junkies, they're selfish and all about money and the power that comes along with money. One reason I do have an appreciation for the older generation of people, and I grew up around the older saints, and although their theology was skewed and off family about some things, what I loved is about them was they were not materialists. They loved their God and they could be happy in the belief of I have a relationship with God. My needs are always supplied, and I'm to love my neighbor as I love myself, which means yes, money is important, but it's not the end all be all for me. I need you to hear me. There was a different perspective about things that put them more in tune with their inner selves, the real you, the real them, the real us as spirits. And there's a higher self and a lower self, but the real us as divine, a divine spiritual species in relationship with the creator and saying, this is where the emphasis of my life is. And I'm grateful for these other things that I have that I believe are being supplied to me. And I'm not going to allow my life to be defined if I don't have these things. Okay, this is I can see that this is settling in some of your hearts. Settling in. You've been taught the car is a symbol and a sign of your success. You've been taught the job is a symbol and a sign of your success. Listen, I know people from zero to who multimillionaires. You should make the money what it is. The money doesn't make you what it is. Are you catching what I'm saying? And I know many people who are in places you and I aspire to be, and they're miserable. And you might say, yes, I'd rather be miserable with wealth, but I'm going to say you won't know that until you get to that place. I heard Will Smith talking about it recently on an interview, and he's basically said, you get to a place in life where you have all the money you want to have, there's nothing else you want to buy. You can have sex with whoever you want to have sex with. So there's nobody else you really want to have sex with. He was saying you got all the things you could ever imagine and desire. And then you get there, and he was saying, and you're still empty. I'm paraphrasing. You're still empty. You don't have joy. You don't have peace. You thought it was the material things that could give you this. This is what he was saying. He thought it was the material things or the fame that would give him these things that would make him happy until he had them all and realize it's not it. I feel a tear well up in my eye. I don't know who this is for besides me. I'm encouraging you right now to revisit a reconstruction of your values, a retooling of your belief system. Seriously. Because if the material is connected to your happiness, then you're never going to be happy. Did you catch that? Because one day when you have those things, you're still going to be empty because you don't understand that life comes from number one, an inner fulfillment from the spiritual first. Then we deal with the mental or the psychological and the physical. But our perspectives and perceptions in terms of identity, in terms of purpose, all right, in terms of why we're here, and the fulfillment or the answer to those questions, and then the execution or the implementation, which leads to the fulfillment of purpose, the fulfillment of the reason I am for being, it's going to make you or cause you to have joy and peace that has nothing to do with things, but it has everything to do, watch this, with you being who you were originally designed to be, catch this, outside of your body, not in this body. When you learn and discover that I'm loved unconditionally by the creator and I should love myself unconditionally, that things don't make me, watch this, as a conscious creator, I make things, that things should not be wrapped up, happiness should not be wrapped up in things, but I am the happiness that creates a relationship with things, and the things don't make me happy. The things are just wonderful additions into my life that at some point would help my life, or I could take those same things and help other people. That the fame you want is not the fame for the sake of fame, because what does it, what good is it for you to do to be famous and can't go nowhere, to be famous and still miserable, to be famous and still angry, to be famous and can't trust nobody? Hear what I'm saying today. Howard Hughes, I believe that was his name. I'm going to bring him up probably on Wednesday night. Incredibly rich, but paranoid about people. Lived isolated. I can go on and what good does it do to have all this stuff and still miserable? The key right is right now doing the inner work for you to understand that a strong, solid vertical relationship with your creator, a strong, solid vertical relationship with yourself is first where you and I should begin. And then other things are added or grow or launched or spawn from that center. You being centered, you being balanced, you understanding and recognizing who you are outside of the body, who you are outside of the flesh, who you are outside of the matrix. Come on now, somebody. Not allowing the matrix to define you. See, all of this stuff is deceptive. This simulation is deceptive. Who are you really? Embrace that. Find happiness in purpose, not attached to things, but in purpose that number one is related to who you are, why you came into this earth, who you're going to serve and support while you're on this in this earth. And then the things can come as a result of you using your knowledge, skill, and intelligence for a company or on behalf of yourself, and then you take the material gains and you use some of it in your life and you bless your family with some of it, and then you bless the world with the rest of it. But the primary purpose is not to be here for things. I love what Yeshua said. What does it profit a man and woman to gain the whole world and lose his soul? People mistake that thinking he's talking about they going to hell. That's not what he's talking about. He's talking about a person who's going to lose their divine identity. He's talking about a person who is so fixated and focused on temporality, on the temporal, on the mundane, on the stuff that disintegrates and burns up and passes away, on the stuff you can't even take with you. you don't focus on the fact that you are the prize. You don't focus on the fact that you are the power. You don't focus on the fact that you are already great. Things don't make you great. You can lose yourself, your true self, the true definition of who and what you are, the true definition of why you came into this existence, why you came into this dimensional plane. You can lose that you are of a God class. You can lose the definition of who and what you are in this construct because you're chasing stuff. You're chasing the material stuff to the point now you can't even be happy without it. Do you know what stress is? Stress is a thought, and it's typically a thought that is unpleasant, a thought that's undesirable. And these thoughts, again, are interpretations of situations. It's our viewpoint of life. So if I don't have this extra pair of jeans, if I can't do this with money, if I can't make this amount of money, your thoughts say to you, I'm miserable. I'm not happy. I'm just not productive. Nobody wants me. I'm always going to struggle. As if your life is supposed to be about things. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Somebody help me today. Am I getting any likes and hearts? Am I getting any likes and hearts? Matter of fact, I want somebody to put up Luke 12 and 15 for me. One of my sisters put up Luke 12 and 15. Let me look at my time. I got to go. I know we had to do a restart, but I'm going to get off here. Luke 12 and 15. Put it up for me, my assistants, and then I'm gonna hang my hat on this. I had the every other information pulled up at the start, but I just need to go with the flow. Yes, I am the miracle. But I want my assistants to put that up real quick. Luke 12 and 15, then I'm gonna be done. See, I know this is the opposite, the antithesis of what is taught in many of our societies, but I'm just hear me, hear what I'm saying today. Hear what I'm saying today. I'm learning and I'm sharing what I'm learning with you. The sooner we can change the definition of happiness, change the definition of peace, change the definition of what we consider to be success and prosperity, that is not based on material things. It and then get to a place that we detach from thinking we need this crap to be valuable, to be a VIP. Then the stuff is gonna come to us. Luke 6:33. Seek ye first the kingdom and of God. And all these things that's mentioned in the chapter above gonna be added to you. Luke 12:15, King James. And he said unto them, take heed, beware of covetousness, for a man's life consisteth not in the abundance of things which he possesseth. And Yeshua is not saying he got problems with money. He's not saying he's got problems with wealth. That's not what Yeshua is saying here. Then he said to them, watch out, be on guard against all kinds of greed. Life does not consist in an abundance of possessions. That's NIV version. Hear me. We've become so hypnotized, and mesmerized, and captivated by a world that's not even technically real. The truth be told, the truth be told, our focus needs to be on the super reality. Our focus needs to first be internal, on the spiritual us, the spiritual dimension, the spiritual identity. Hear me. And then taking the spiritual mind, converting the natural mind, transforming the natural mind. The natural mind transforms the natural body. Then there is symmetry and alignment between spirit and flesh. Hear what I'm saying today, family. But you don't put the flesh over the spirit. Watch this, because this, you take this off. You got to take care of it while you're here, but you don't prioritize it on what you are outside the body, who you don't prioritize it over who you really are outside of this structure, this physical structure. Somebody might say this clay. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You turn on the TV, they're talking about money, this, that, and the other. You go on the internet, and how you can be rich overnight. I've seen all that. I've participated in some of that stuff in the past. Then you're looking at your checking account. You're looking at, people across the field from you and the folk you grew up with, and you feel, then you start creating again this concept of what happiness is or isn't for you based on stuff. There's nothing wrong with desiring stuff, but you don't want to gain the stuff and lose yourself. You don't want to be greedy and think that life is really about physical stuff. Did you see what he said? Beware, covetousness is greed, possessiveness. For a man's life consisted not in the abundance of things. The definition of your life is not about how much stuff you can hoard and accumulate. Mm, my goodness, sense this so strong. I'm encouraging you right now in the moment, and I'm closing. I'm encouraging you right now in the moment to embrace the kingdom, embrace the need to shift your reality tunnel, to shift your cognitive bias, to turn it inside because you're already inside of this physical housing, to live from there and understand and recognize that I'm loved unconditionally by God, the creator, source, and sustainer. I have permission to love myself, and then I have permission to be happy with me. And then I have permission to discover who and what I am in this present iteration, this present avatar, physical existence. And yes, I'm grateful for a vehicle. I'm grateful for a home to live in. I'm grateful for money in the bank. But all those things are friends, tools, and accessories that assist and support me in this journey and in empowering and blessing other people. Here we go. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I want you to say this with me. Thank you, Hillary. I give myself permission to love myself unconditionally and embrace who I am. Somebody type that in the comment section for me. I give myself permission to love myself unconditionally and discover and embrace who I really am. Woo-hoo. Wow. You are not the furniture in your house. That does not define you. You are not the value of the shoes or clothes you wear. That doesn't really define you. You are not the home or the apartment or wherever it is you live. That does not define you. It's not who you are. It's not who you are. I give myself permission to love myself unconditionally and embrace who I am. Yes, 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 yes. Hallelujah. Come on, who's doing it now? If you want you to, you can lift your hands. If you want to, you can, while you're by yourself, speak it out loud. I give myself permission to love myself unconditionally and discover and embrace who I really am. There we go. And the resident therapist beat me to it. Let's start another challenge. Let's start another challenge. We want our resident therapists to remember this. Who's going to declare and decree this? Who's going to affirm this every day for the next 7 days? Who's going to do it? Death and life is in the power of it. Your tongue. Who's going to join us in these 7 days? And I want one of my assistants to copy and paste that affirmation and text it to me, please. Copy and paste the affirmation, one of my assistants, and text it to me, please. Here we go. We got the second person, well, the third person, because I'm going to do it. Yes, 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 yes. We got the fourth person. Who's going to join us? Who's going to join us in 7 days? We're saying this affirmation for 7 days. Who's going to join us? I guarantee you say it with faith and feeling. Powerful, powerful things will shift inside of you. Yes, I'm giving myself permission to love myself unconditionally and embrace who I am. We got another person that's in. All right. And we got another person that's in. We're in it together, tribe. So this is our resident therapist. He's going to keep us on track. So when we come back on in a couple of days, he's going to remind me to check in with you to make sure that we are continuing to participate in this affirmation daily. Listen, you can do it throughout the day whenever it comes to you. You know what? You know what I want to encourage you to do as well? I don't want you to just speak it. I want you to write it a few times every day for 7 days. Speak it and write it. Speak it and write it. Okay? What did I just say to do? What did I just say to do? And I want you to type that while I'm praying. Almighty, I thank you for everybody who's watching and viewing me right now. This is a message that is impacting all those who are viewing now. And I bless you in advance for the miracles of the mind, miracles of the heart, satataba, in the manifestation of these affirmations. Thank you for changed, shifted, new versions, new creatures. We bless you and we thank you. We walk in newness of the new us, the greater versions of us. And whatever we discover, we embrace it. And whatever needs to shift in our discovery process, we embrace the change. We embrace the transformation. In Yeshua's name, power, consciousness, and way, it is so. So it is. All right, that's it. Speak and write it for 7 days. Now listen, family, I don't mean write in your tablet, although that's good. I mean write on a piece of paper by hand. Studies have shown us that when we write something, it stays with us longer and it impacts the brain differently. I'm going to encourage you to write it. So you're speaking it, and then you're going to take out that notebook or whatever you got. However many times a day you want to write it, you can write it. You might just write it once. You might just write it twice. That's fine. You might write it 3 times. You might write it 10 times. You might write a whole page. That's up to you. But you're going to speak and write it. And in that moment, you're so full of gratitude and thanksgiving because you know that you know that you know it is so. Oh, my goodness. You can use the giving opportunities you see on the screen, $AG Green Enterprises or $AG Green, PayPal at AG Green Enterprises. And of course, you can visit theaggreen.com where there's a donation page that's set up there as well. How y'all feeling before I release you today? Tell me how you're feeling. Tell me how you're feeling. Tell me what you're thinking. And I'm going to release you. Tell me how you're feeling and what you're thinking. Let me put the giving banner up at the bottom so I can take this down. Quickly, tell me how you're thinking, what you're thinking, and how you're feeling. Real quickly. What are you thinking, how you're feeling in this moment? Your giving opportunities are at the bottom of the screen now, your donation opportunities. How did this resonate with you today? How did this message find you today? Waiting on your responses, and then I'm going to release you. Thank you for hanging in there with us, even with the technical difficulties from Facebook. Let's see. There we go. Feeling empowered. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you for your feedback. And I also want to thank those who have taken the time to give. And even if you don't have it today, just when you have it, remember me, right? Releasing you with the shalom blessing. Shalom, shalom, peace, wholeness, and prosperity. Nothing missing, nothing broken. It is so, and so it is. Enjoy your day.